Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another A5 podcast. Thank you so much for the patience. I know that we took a break for a little bit, but we were cooking up some stuff in the background. So we got an amazing guest here today. The boys are here in Tampa today. So shout out to the boys for driving all the way up to Tampa.
Let's go.
We're here with Renee and Eric, who's a quasi honorary member of the A5 at this point. Yeah, he doesn't want to sign the full contract.
We keep giving him 10-day contract.
I heard about a 6-month free contract, maybe extended to 9 months.
There you go. Yeah,
we don't pay him anything, but if he leaves, he has to pay us. So that's it. But today we have a phenomenal episode for you guys. The boys are in town, so I wanted to get one of my brothers from Courageous. Let's give it up for our brother Nate Cross this morning.
Let's go.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, it's an honor and a privilege to have you, Nate. I've gotten to know Nate pretty much, honestly, since I got to Courageous, because I got to Courageous July 2023. You got there August 2023.
Yeah, September, right after Tim Ross.
Yeah. So he came
September Sunday.
You guys might have been here, honestly, that first Sunday. You remember that?
That first Sunday. I mean, yeah, I was there. Is that the one where they announced Tim Ross and there was like a huge line? Yes, I was there.
Yep. So him and his wife were there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you've kind of been part of my journey at Tampa too, but just want to give a quick...
so you've been there for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
September 23.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So he's been there almost 2 years as well, almost the same length as me.
Wow.
But just want to give a quick intro about you, Nate. It says here that you grew up as a pastor's kid in San Diego.
Oh, shout out.
So that's
PKs.
Yeah, Renee's a PK as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
You moved to multiple cities and states, played football in college. What college you go to?
I went to North Park University and then Central Methodist University.
Okay, awesome. It says here you're a lifelong Chargers fan.
Yes, so I rep the...
So I know there's some division at the church because of that.
PB is Chiefs fans.
Yes.
Yeah, one of our guys at church, Charlie, you know Charlie, right?
I think so.
His brother plays for the Chargers. He's one of the kickers.
No way.
That's sick.
I don't know his first name, but I know his last name is Scott.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah.
J.K. Scott.
Yes.
He's our punter.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. That's
Yeah,
it.
his
That's
brother
a
goes
real
to
fan.
our church
Real
Nice.
fan, yeah.
with his
Yeah,
wife.
That's a
you know
real
the
fan.
punter. You know the punter. You know something.
Yep. And you were an Army medic, so thank you for your service. I appreciate that.
Thank you for your service, man.
I could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like military.
Former nurse, married to Carrie, beautiful wife since January 30th of 2023.
Correct.
Awesome. So you guys just hit 2 years.
We did.
Phenomenal.
We did.
You got 4 kids.
I do.
You work in ministry for a nonprofit organization. So
Nice.
that's amazing. We'll get into more detail about that.
Sure.
And lover of Jesus. So I love it. Anything else you want to share? Because I think we had our men's event at the church at Courageous a couple months ago, and you shared your story. And I just thought that was so profound. It was, a pin could drop in the room because the silence was just, everybody was just so glued to your story. Right. And I think I remember looking around and men had tears in their eyes because I think a lot of people can relate to your story.
Yeah.
So we'll just start there, man. Tell us a little bit about you, your background as far as your testimony.
Sure, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me. I've listened to some of your stuff this week and just
Thank you, man. Thank you for honoring us with you being here, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
you guys have do a really good job. So it's kind of cool. I feel like I know you guys before I met you. So, but yeah, so I'll just kind of get right into it. First off, I want to honor my parents, Dwayne and Sherry Cross. Still both living. They're in a different season of ministry now. My dad, I was born while he was in seminary. And I know that I'm sitting here with you guys today because of the prayers, especially of my mother. So when I think about that, that's the first thing I want. And I just want to honor them because some of the stuff I'll share is it's pretty hard, to talk about. So, and growing up in San Diego, big family. Dad had 3 sisters. Mom had 2 sisters. All kinds of cousins were running around doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And the first real piece for me when something really kind of broke inside of me is I was sexually abused as a young boy by both some male cousins and then also a female babysitter. I didn't really know or think a lot of it then, but it hyped up something inside of me. It took the innocence of my sexuality and just kind of flipped it. And that was when like the chaos internally really started for me. I was going around just not even knowing what to do with that. Meanwhile, I'm a pastor's kid. I see my parents who are still married today. So I see this thing of this is only for this marriage, sexuality is only for marriage, which amen for that. And I was so conflicted on the other hand, and it just set off chaos. And, come to find out later in years, it was happening to all of my cousins, brothers and sisters, the whole 9 yards. So there was just a lot of chaos on that side of the family. That was on my dad's side of the family. So that just kind of became this thing that was inside of me. And then growing up, really like if the church doors are open, man, I was there. Like, PK, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh man, I know exactly what you're saying.
Sunday night, Wednesday, Tuesday, you got to go do something. Like you're just there.
Yeah.
Those first 18 years, I was just there. And I look back and I'm really grateful for my parents. As far as what Proverbs talking about, like train up a child in the way they should go when they're old, they will not depart from it. And so I'm grateful for that training up. Yeah. It just took a long time for it to click with me. I mean, I would have told you that I believed in Jesus just because that's all I knew, right? I know the stories. I know Daniel and the lion's den, and I know David and Goliath, and Jonah and the whale, and I know all that stuff, right? Because of being raised in that. So I'm grateful for that. So I'll get back to as things progressed, I found success in sports, which was really helpful for me. When I was 13, like the second real, I guess, traumatic event happened. My little brother died. He got hit by a car while he was riding his bike home from a friend's house.
Sorry.
And so that was like this thing that really kind of snapped my family. But I look back and we talk about how we can say that God will take anything and turn it for your good.
Yeah.
At the time, it's hard to see that. Today, I can see that he saved me and my sister when he took my brother.
Wow.
Because my dad was getting ready to move. We had moved from San Diego to Denver at the time, and Dad was pastoring a church there. And my dad was getting ready to take a church back in San Jose, like Bay Area in California is like San Jose, San Francisco, Oakland area. And at that time, that's where my cousins and uncle who were abusing everybody lived. So we were getting ready to go, like we'd been released from it, and we're getting ready to go right back into it.
Yeah.
And so in looking at that, like God took my brother and saved me and my sister from going back into that. And
Wow.
that's still to this day, he still turned that for good.
Yeah.
He still saved me from more abuse, more of that trauma that maybe would have pushed me to never getting back. So that was a big thing. Then after that, my parents saw that they were losing me. We moved to the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. I went to high school there, found success in sports, started getting recruited by colleges to play football and this kind of stuff, and kind of held it together at that point. Not a lot, still going to church, but really I was just there for the girls, if we're being honest. Youth group, they still used to do lock-ins overnight, all the stuff. It was just like, that's just what it was for me. Like I was just so, because of that hypersexuality, I was just so focused on all those things.
Yeah.
And even looking back, God saved me from so much, and it's got to be because of my mother's prayers. So after that, go to college to play football. Man, I'm doing great in football camp as soon as I get some freedom for the first time. Man, because I started drinking and using marijuana really in this is the 90s, so that's that was what was popular. It's so different now today. But what I found is that just turned off that internal dialogue inside of me. Like I didn't have to fight that battle anymore. I just was able to just grab it and it could just go to the back of my mind. Just keep push. Like, like the, I don't know if my grandparents always had one of those trash compactors.
Yes.
It was like, bzzz, like puts it, like that's literally what I was doing with the things that had happened to me. Like just not even acknowledging that they existed.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, all the behaviors, we talk about Tim Ross, like what doesn't come up and out through words comes up like out of my body through behavior. And that's what was happening.
100%.
From the drinking, the drugs, the girls, all that kind of stuff. Right. And so I still have this great, example. I see my parents about this time in college. I as soon as I work my way up the depth chart, we go to a party. I pass out drunk in the shower. I'm in the coach's office, dropped on the depth chart. Right. So all of a sudden, this alcohol thing started causing problems for me, and I'm really young. And next thing you know, I'm that first football season had finished, and I'm I need to make a little extra money. I was working in the kitchen, didn't really like that. So why don't I just sell some pot? So I started selling pot, get caught with a pound in my dorm room. I have to go to first time I have to go to counseling for all that kind of stuff. Even the day before, I'm still smoking weed, then taking a thing to cleanse my urine to pass the next day and passing. So it had kicked off really young. And so for the next, that's I'm 18 or 19, for the next 20 plus years, I'm running from that thing and just entangled in it. So after that, I drop out of college, meet my 3 older kids' mom. We knew each other. We actually went to church together in Denver, which is funny. But anyhow, great mother, like super grateful for her. She was really good with the kids. My kids all have graduated college because of her. Like there's so much good about her. We just were so young and just looking for something. So I'm like, well, I'll get married and have kids, right? That'll solve my problems. It doesn't, right? So I'm still drinking, and that starts amping up more and more and more and causing more problems. We end up getting a divorce. After that, I'm like, I go back to college to play football again. And I just can't keep anything because the drugs and alcohol is such a hold on me. Like I can't sober up long enough to get successful. So I'll have these bursts of success taken away. I'm like, well, why don't I go in the military? Go in the military, start having some success, basic training, man, and get promoted to like our platoon guy. We win all these things and everything, get some freedom, drunk again, Next thing you know, the military police are always picking me up and keeping me overnight, drunk again, like just getting in trouble, out of trouble, in trouble, out of trouble. Like it just kept causing problems. Go through a first divorce, meet my next wife out at a club one night. Like that's just what you do when you're in the military. And then that just kind of kicked off. Like she wasn't going to give me a hard time about my drinking. Right. So I found somebody who was going to do that with me.
Right.
And so for the next 16 years, the party just did not stop, and it caused chaos so much. Like I'm free from guilt, shame, and condemnation today because of what Jesus says about me.
Amen.
And I've had to deal with that. I've had to do the internal work. I have had to look at myself. I've had to go to my children. I've had to apologize. I've had to do all those things.
Wow.
Some of those relationships are better. Some are not. And that's just where I'm at. I mean, September 4th, 2019 is the day that God did a work in my life. When I just was at the end of my rope from this marriage. I had first time in my life I'd actually stood up and said, I'm going to do something. So my now ex-wife was from a small town in Georgia. We were living there. And like about 6 months before May of 2019, I told her, I said, you know what? I'm going back to Arizona. I got to go get around some family because I'm going to die, and I'm going with or without you. Like that's just God doing that at that point in my life without even me realizing it.
Wow.
Because I was so into the drugs, the alcohol. I was working as a nurse at the time after, the military, constantly in trouble. Everything I did, I was just getting in trouble all the time. Then I worked as a nurse for a long time. Then I started finding the pills as a nurse. So I could take the pills to keep me from having to drink on the job, just like that, the weed. Like there's not a drug that I hadn't tried in those years. Just anything to escape. So getting to then, like just that, a lot of chaos. Somehow the kids they managed to get through okay. When I look back on it, only the grace of God. And again, my mom probably praying over my kids. Again, praying mothers, man. Shout out.
Praying mothers.
Praying mothers.
I think we all got that.
Yeah.
Telling you, I know that's why I'm here today. So, with that, I then got to Arizona in May. So I had told my now ex-wife, hey, I'm going with or without you. I'm gonna die. When my youngest daughter graduates high school, I'm leaving. So literally, she graduated on a Friday. We had a graduation party on Saturday. I packed the truck on Sunday and I drove away Monday. Like that happened 6 months before. It was on Halloween night, actually. I remember telling her that, which is really, really weird because I didn't have any value. I didn't think I deserved anything. I didn't think I deserved anything good. But God had started doing a work then. So I get to Arizona, where my parents are at. They've been there now for since 2000. That was where my dad's last church was at, and they've been there for a long time. So they just took me in, and were kind enough to let me come there. And then September 4th of 2019, I had just it's hard to explain besides just the grace of God in my life, because everything was this way, and then that day something inside of me said, you need to call your dad. And so I called my dad and I said, Dad, I'm gonna die. I can't do this anymore. Like, so in that, because I've had that thought 1,000 times before, right? Like I've just had that thought 1,000 times before. Dad, I can't do this. I need your help. Within 10 minutes, one of my best friends in the world now, a guy named Mark Sullivan, called me. And he just told me about his life, man. I was homeless 25 years ago. I was smoking meth. Me and my family were living in a tent. He did not condemn me once. He just told me about him and how he's now free. And he said, are you serious about this? And I go, yeah, I'm serious. And he goes, okay. I need you to go pick up a book. It's the big book, Alcoholics Anonymous. Shout out to the 12 steps, biblically based freedom in 12 steps. So just to be clear on that. So he goes, okay, grab this book, start reading, and meet me here tomorrow. And man, at that point, I was so desperate that I was going to do whatever he told me. Best decision that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And so I start getting into recovery. I start doing the 12 steps. September 4th, 2019, that's when the day of surrender, the last time I used a drug or alcohol. I'm still sober to this day. And that's just God's
Praise
freedom.
God.
That's awesome.
That's
Man.
just his freedom in that. Like because if he didn't take that away from me like that, there's other things where I've had to work out.
Yeah.
But if he hadn't have taken that, it was going to kill me. So I look
Wow.
back and
Yeah.
go, okay, that was his grace in that. So in going through the 12 steps, what you do is you surrender your life, your will, your way. I recognize there's a problem. God, I'm going to trust you. Then you go through a personal inventory. So I'll never forget, I wrote down going through my personal inventory and then sharing that with another human being. Iron sharpens iron, right? In James, it talks about like how we have to confess our sins one to another so that we can be healed, right? So I'm doing that with him. And then he gives me a list of what we call character defects, basically my sins. And I would have told you at the time, right? I would have told you I was just a good guy who liked to drink and party too much. Instead, all of a sudden I see, lust, evasion, perversion, like you name the sin, it's there. I'll dodge you. I won't confront anything. I'm a liar, a cheater, a thief, man. I'll steal. When I was a nurse, to get my pills, I would steal from your dying mother.
Wow.
That's how much I thought I was important. What I needed was more important than everybody else, right? So in that, like you finally look at yourself for real.
Yeah.
And I just remember going, God, like you are real. So that was October 1st of 2019 in my parents' bedroom. I just said, God, you know what? Whatever you want with my life, yes is the answer. That's it. And so I just keep saying yes. So these last almost 6 years, like 5 years, 8 or 9 months now, September will be 6 years. In these last years, man, I've done more in these years than I did my first 42. Like I've just accomplished things, I've done things, but most importantly, I keep saying yes to him.
Yeah.
Right? Just because I got saved that day, yes, he delivered me from alcohol and drugs, but man, there was so much more. I had to get to the root.
There always is.
I had to get to the root and start pulling stuff up. And, I went through a divorce that first year and, just a lot of hard things, but all of a sudden, for the first time in my life, man, I was free. The sky was blue. I could hear the birds. Like I just was free.
Amen.
And I knew, and God had started giving me visions about my future and some things that are happening. And, I went back home to San Diego at that point, went through the school of ministry at the Rock Church, shout out Rock. Just because I had such a profound experience with like, I was going to die in it and now I'm free.
Yeah.
And that was, there's no other explanation besides calling out to Jesus.
Come on.
Jesus, I need you. And all it was yes. And yes is the answer. And so what that's led me on, is unbelievable. Man, I could go down the list of, I got miracles for days just by saying yes. Just by saying yes.
Come on.
I love that, man. Thank you for sharing that. Your story's phenomenal, man, and I think that a lot of men could relate to your story.
Yeah.
On every level, from the addictions, the sins, to once you encounter the Lord, the shame, the guilt, the condemnation that then you have to get over.
Yes.
So I think your story is just phenomenal.
Yep.
And something that I wanted to start the conversation on was that a couple weeks ago, you actually taught in our discipleship program, right? You taught week 5 of Courageous Life, and it was called Mind Wars. We were talking about the battles that happen inside the mind.
Yes.
And there was something you said that really that really hit me, and I wrote it down because I wanted to bring it up to quote you, and then we'll segue that into the rest of the conversation that I wanted to have today. But you said, I'm not even worth being a janitor in my own life.
Yes. Yes.
And I thought that was so profound because that humility that I've always seen from you, like you carry yourself with such a humble spirit, but you saying that, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like, we're called to be humble. Like Jesus was humble.
Yeah.
Jesus washed his disciples' feet. He walked with a humility. And then sometimes I think like, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the American church, the Western church, whatever, but it's just like we have I just feel like people are self-absorbed.
Yeah.
Like I deserve this, I need this or whatever. And it's like, we don't deserve anything.
No.
We
Right.
deserve hell. That's the only thing we deserve.
Yes.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And so just to hear you say, I'm not even worth being a janitor in my own life.
Yes.
Like I think that humility speaks volumes. And so I don't know if the guys have anything to share about that, but
I think I really like what you said when you were explaining your story. You have this, and I wish more people shared it. This realization where it's like, if it hadn't been for Jesus stepping in, you would have died.
Yes,
Right.
And I don't think, maybe people don't have the same story, and so it may not be as evident. But I think it's true for more people than they realize.
Yes.
If God did not step into your life, you were doomed in your sin.
Yeah.
And I think your humility is coming from that realization that
Yes.
you mentioned,
Yes.
in your story. It's like, if God stepped in, thank God he did.
Yeah.
I was going to die.
yeah, I mean, the word says the wages of sin is death, right? And I think that verse is directly speaking to spiritual death, separation from God in eternity. And in some cases, it means literal death. Like if you continue in your sin, you are going to die.
You're on your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct.
One thing that I wanted to touch on, that I felt like as you were talking, you mentioned how you went to your kids, you did the work, you apologized.
Yeah.
And man, that right there, you gave your kids so much healing and so much freedom that a lot of kids don't get.
Yeah.
Like my father never apologized to me for what he did to what he said to me, right?
Yeah.
And what he did to my mother. I grew up with an abusive dad. He would physically abuse my mom, verbally abuse me when I was older. So I know that there's so many people out there that they wish that they could get that from their dad. Like, hey man, I'm sorry for like everything that I put you guys through. I'm sorry for the times you guys saw me come home, intoxicated, or the way that I spoke to you or whatever. That's a lot of healing that you gave your kids. And that, like Eric said, comes from the humility, man. And I agree with Sandra. Like the moment that we met, I was like, man, this dude has something on him.
Yeah.
And it's that you're humble. Yeah. You're not trying to be something that you're not. No. You're exactly what God made you to be.
Yes, sir.
So kudos to you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Cool.
You wanted to share anything on that?
Yeah. So yeah, for sure. For me, humility, like what you're talking about, like my mentor, the guy who really walked me through the steps, but really a guy who I just really look up to, Mark Sullivan. And what we talk about is we're just fired from our life. We're fired from being in charge. So when I say I'm not worthy to clean the floors or clean the toilets in my own life, it means I'm not worthy, because I have 42 years of evidence of what happens when I'm in charge, and it was a disaster. And so when I give it back to him, the things that I have today, like I have the peace that passes all understanding.
That's good.
I have the joy. I have those fruits of the Spirit that He will give us if we just give it back to Him. So.
That's so good. Yeah. I just love that analogy. I mean, I think and then from that humility, God puts favor on your life, and then He blesses you. But because I also don't want people to, it's almost like it's this weird tension that you got to wrestle with.
Yeah.
Because it's not, you don't call yourself a janitor so that you feel like the lowliest thing on earth, right?
Yeah.
Because God, you are son of the Most High King.
Yes.
You're the head and not the tail. And so you got to see yourself as that in order to be able to overcome certain things, but at the same time recognize your place and recognize and walk in humility.
That's I like that statement. So it's incredibly profound, because you're doing I think it's so theologically correct. You do two things by saying that. It's acknowledging that your life belongs to God. So I'm not even worthy to be the janitor of my own life. It's His.
Yes.
And I think too, it acknowledges perfectly that you're not even capable of cleaning up your own life.
No,
that's good.
It's I need Christ. He is the one who's worthy, and because my life belongs to Him, and He's the only one who can.
That's good.
And I think it's an extremely profound way to put it.
That's so
beautifully
good.
said.
That's so good. A lot of people see themselves as the CEO of their lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like, God, okay, yes,
so
I surrender everything, but can I still be the CEO?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you can't.
And the thing is, God is like, okay, you want to be the CEO?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He'll never
let
impose
you.
His will on you. Never.
He'll let you.
Yeah.
He'll let you.
I'll let you. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's real.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah, I just love the humility that you walk with, man. And talk to me about something else that you said that was really profound. You mentioned, if you don't mind going there, you mentioned your brother's loss, but that in your brother's loss, that saved you.
Yeah.
So talk about how even in loss, so much can come from that.
Yeah. Oh man, I can talk about that all day. So yeah. So just in in my brother's loss, man, that crushed my parents, right? Like it crushed me, my sister. It just created this division for a few years where we all went in 4 different directions. You know, I'm left at home. My sister leaves for college the next year. My mom and dad everybody's just struggling. They're just struggling to keep it all together. And, you know, so we don't always get the answer right away of why these things happen, you know, because at the end of the day, it's God, your perfect will is upon our life. And his perfect will is that my brother was supposed to be a kid in heaven. And like, what better kid when I look back on him, like he was awesome. You know, me and him are so opposite, but at the same time, man, he just had such a big heart, just loved people. And like, in looking at him being saved from that, I don't know if that ever happened to him when he was really little before we moved there, as far as the sexual abuse. And just like, even knowing that may have saved him from that too. And what better place? Because if we really believe that we go to heaven, then what are we talking about? Like, my brother's in heaven.
Right.
That's where I'm trying to get to.
Right.
Like
Right.
that's
right,
where
right.
I'm going. I'm just not there yet. You know, until I leave this flesh, man. That's where I'm going. So why shouldn't I just rejoice that he's there?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a verse that Paul says actually, I'm away from home in the body, something along those lines. And it's so beautiful because again, going back to this idea of like, we're not the CEO.
Yep.
This life is not even ours. This body's not even mine. Like really, like
Literally.
God gave me this body.
Yep.
It's his breath in my lungs.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so this idea that we are away from home.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen a lot of recently. I've been getting a lot into like near death experiences.
Oh yeah.
There's this pastor. I think his name it's John Burke. I think it is John Burke, and he's done a lot of studies on near death experiences and how people will medically be dead.
Yeah.
But have an encounter with the Lord.
Yes.
And so I think it's really interesting that
Yeah.
there's been a lot of people that what they see is so insane
Yes.
that when they come back, they're actually depressed because they don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
I want to go back. And the way they described this, like imagine living in a 2D picture, like a 2-dimensional picture, but what you saw was 3D or 4D.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's amazing. So I think that's really cool. Like just to be able to understand that man, this isn't all that there is.
Yeah.
You know, we have a hope in the
Yes.
future. We have a
Yes.
hope in the afterlife.
Yes.
Anything you guys want to share about
Yeah.
that?
It's good.
No, I'm good.
Awesome. Yeah. Continuing, another thing that I wanted to touch on that you mentioned that I think is somewhat big within, I keep saying American church, but probably like the Western church, because I think, at least for me growing up in Puerto Rico, I never really saw this, the staffs in church where a bunch of people worked at a church. It was like the pastor was the only one that worked at the church. Everybody else just served. So I guess in this model of this context of church where there's staff and whatnot, I think nowadays we think a lot of people, especially younger Christians, they're like, you do ministry in church, right? Like be in ministry, you got to either work for the church or serve a lot. But you work, and I want you to talk a little bit about that, what you do now, because I love that you told me I'm in ministry, just not in the church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. In the 4 walls of the church or a church. Right. So talk a little bit about how you do ministry outside of the church.
Yeah, for sure. So when we moved here a couple years ago, still doing real estate, and you know, I had just this profound moment where I was just like, all right, God, I work for you now. Like even down to my profession, and I know what He's called me to do, and I know the spiritual gifts I have, and I know where I'm at is not forever, but it is like I'm getting training right now in what I do, and I'll tell you how I got there, which is like so you should see how God just works, because I'm like, I was at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. I was talking to this guy who I hadn't really known that well, older dude, just kind of like super savvy, like, you know, Santa Claus beard, and just really a wise guy, like just has a lot of wisdom and just patience and goodness. And me and him just were talking before a meeting one day, and he goes, you know what, Nate, what, you know, do you enjoy what you do? I'm like, yeah, man, I got free time. I'm working like 2 or 3 hours a day on the phone, plenty of money. Wife's doing the soccer thing, all this kind of stuff. And he goes, you know what, I think you need to call this lady. I think you'd be really, really good for this. He goes, I actually just left this, you know, place, and I think you'd be good. And I'm like, okay, well, my wife's always told me you never turn down a phone call, right? What's the worst that can ever come from a phone call? So I call this lady. Her name's Coral Shepherd. Shout out Coral, Empowered to Change. That's who I work with now. And I'm just like, yeah, you know, I got a friend who might be interested in this. I don't know if I'm connecting to you guys or whatever, and she kind of told me about what they do, and they help transition people out of drug court, out of Department of Corrections, off the street, kids aging out of foster care, women who've been sexually trafficked. We have just a wide variety of people that they really get down and dirty to help. I'm like, yeah, I'll pray about it for a week. And I'm like, all right, God, you're going to have to tell me that I'm going to have to do this, because you're asking me to go do something, take a huge pay cut, like all these things, right? Like the things that we think matter. And so I get on my phone one day and I get this notification that there's like a veterans like recovery thing. And it's like a mile from my house when I was living over by the airport. And I'm like, who did I get this from? I could not remember. To this day, I think I finally found out, some dude's dad, and he dropped it in there. And I just couldn't remember. I said, I'm going to go. And so I go and I start talking to some people. And to be clear, like the thing that they were asking me to interview for was like a case mentor, somebody to kind of help people transition. So I start talking to some people, and I'm like, they're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I don't know. Somebody invited me. Like, really didn't know. I was like, I just feel like God maybe has me here. I start talking to this lady, never met her before. And she's like a retired Navy lady. There's a lot of veterans there. And she was telling me about what she does. She starts describing this case mentor position for veterans. And she goes, yeah, we call them case mentors, and they come right alongside people and they help kind of walk out their healing journey and these kinds of things. Swear to God, she looks at me and she goes, you know what? You'd be really good at that. I'm like, oh, geez, like crazy.
That's crazy.
Like,
Wow.
right. Like stranger.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And so I went home. I told my wife, and she goes, well, what do you think God says? I said, yeah, he's telling me to do this. And of course he is. And I'm getting spiritually trained on this job. Like the things that happen at my job, man.
Heavy.
It's heavy I've seen, demon possession. I've seen people at their worst. I have come alongside of people. I got the gift of speaking in tongues at lunch one day.
Wow.
I think I had a dream the night before about speaking in tongues, and I've been thinking about it. The next morning, we always pray before we start our day, and one of our leaders, she started praying in tongues while we were praying. And she goes, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That just kind of came out. I hope that didn't offend anybody. I was like, hey, no, that's for me for sure. And I was like, I literally had a dream last night. And so she prayed over me, and then there it was.
Wow.
Wow.
So like, those are the things that are happening at my job. And so we just get messy with people. We hold them to truth, and we hold them in love. Like, it's truth and love all day long, all day long. And I'm not a confrontational guy, man. I'm a little beach kid who just wants to let everybody get along, and just be happy. Like, let's go cook some steaks or whatever. That's just me. So I've had to like confront people every day, and like that's part of my job now. And so in getting trained up in ministry, I'm realizing how important it is to confront people with truth in love.
Oh, yeah.
So it's both.
That's essential.
That's good.
Yeah, and it's already even down to my church. I've had to do that. Like the leadership role I have there, like I've had to confront in truth and love.
Right.
So it's like, okay, yeah,
That's the combo right there.
Yeah.
Jesus, it describes him as grace and truth.
Yeah.
Right. He's
100%.
fully gracious
Yep.
in his delivery, but he's not lying. He's telling
That's
you
good.
the truth.
Right.
So,
It reminds me of the woman caught in adultery.
yeah,
yeah.
that's it.
There's a perfect example of he confronted her and he told her, hey, you got caught.
Yep, yep.
They're not going to condemn you. I'm not. Just don't do it
Yep,
again.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go and sin no more. Yep.
Exactly.
That's it.
And even I think of the woman caught in adultery. I think of the Samaritan woman by the well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Same thing. Yeah.
I was talking about it this week. I love Jesus. He's such a savage, and if you read too quickly, you'll miss it. But he's like,
That's what you talked about at Essentials. The woman at the well, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
There-
It was
there
in
you
the
go.
lesson plan. Yeah.
There you
Sorry.
go.
Yeah.
So, like, he just confronts her, like, hey, whatever, and where's your husband? She's like, oh, I don't have a husband. She's like, yeah, I know. The one you're living with right now is not your husband, but you've had 5 other husbands. Like, he knew already.
Yeah.
That was a little bit of a savage moment from Jesus, but he could have been like, technically under the law of Moses, he could have stoned her or something like that. He could have judged her, condemned her, or whatever. And he's just like, sin no more. I have water to give. If you only knew who's asking you for water,
Right.
If you only knew, because he asked her for a water first, and
For a
she's like, "You're not
drink.
supposed to talk to me" or whatever.
Yeah.
I just think that's another beautiful example of confronting in love, but with truth, not sugarcoating the truth.
Yeah.
I'm still learning that. I'm not the best confrontational person. Like whenever someone tells me you need to correct this person, I'm still practicing how to receive correction well.
Sure.
Because I grew up, if I didn't make my dad proud, my earthly dad,
Oh, yeah.
it would destroy me.
Sure.
So when I don't make other people proud, it still destroys me to this day.
Sure.
And so I always have to take that to the Lord. Lord, heal me. And Pastor Wendy, she's phenomenal. She has such a gift for correcting in love.
Yeah, she does.
And so I think that matters too, who's correcting you. That's why it's so important that if you're correcting someone or someone's correcting you, like do it with love and with grace, compassion.
There also needs to be, I heard it the other day, there needs to be a relationship before there's correction.
Big time.
Sure.
You can't just go up to some random person.
It's like, who are you?
It's like, you're not my, first of all, you're not my boss, you're not my leader, you're not my mentor. Yeah, you're not my dad.
You're not my dad.
Yeah, you have to be, and it's funny because me and Alessandro, we've always been the good cop, bad cop.
Sure.
I'm all for confronting people.
Yeah.
And he's all for like,
who's the bad cop? Of course.
Get him.
obviously.
Get him.
But yeah, so and that's something that I've had to learn. Is I've had to soften myself up.
Sure.
Because I'm way too tough love, and I'm the type of person to be like, wow, that was really dumb of you to do, man.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it because I'm like, I want you to realize this was a really bad bad decision.
Yeah.
I just don't say it's a bad decision. I'll be like, that was dumb. Let's not do that again. Well, Sandro's like, you know what?
Yeah.
God still loves you. Just repent. Let's go.
We've had a lot of those.
We've had a lot of those
I
moments.
gotta get around Sandro more, man. I feel like around you. I feel like I've heard that before, man. I say, hey, bro, it's dumb.
Hey, Eric, Jesus loves you, bro.
Thank you. I receive it. I receive it.
That's
Absolutely. I mean, I was gonna say something. Were you gonna finish your thought, bro?
No, I'm done. That was it.
Oh man, I was talking about what we were talking about confrontation. We were talking about
Woman at the well.
woman at the well.
It's good.
Dang it, I lost my train of thought. Anybody want to chime in?
I have a question.
Sure.
You know? And this is a genuine question. I wasn't even asking. It was so genuine. I was gonna wait till after. And
Sure.
I was like, because it's like for me.
Yeah.
I think we're all in ministry,
Yeah.
or and I think we're all called to it.
Yeah.
I love your story. I love what you do now.
Yeah.
I need advice. How do you lead people going through difficult situations? Because oftentimes, I think they don't want to be led in those moments.
Sure.
I think you could probably think back to moments you were like, rock bottom.
Yes.
And, maybe you've had people around you and then maybe you distance yourself, or maybe you didn't have people around you and you wish you did.
Yeah.
How would we lead people going through hard situations similar to yours, or maybe the people you lead now?
Sure.
Because I started to ramble. I always think you know what, like the best thing I could do is be present, be available.
Yes.
I'm not Jesus. I'm not trying to fix you. I'm trying to lead you to him who can. That is what I kind of go off of. But how do we deal with people that don't even want you to be present? Like they're like, dude, just back off or whatever.
It's unique in what you said, but being present and being available is a big thing. And for me, so if I'm discipling a guy, which there's a lot of guys that are just kind of in my orbit that God just brings to me right now, a lot of young guys from church especially. But like when I talk to them and they're looking for that, then it's, hey man, call me or text me every day. Let me know what's going on. Like I'm not going to chase you down. Because like I want to see some effort on your part. Like I don't have time to chase down 5 guys every single day. Like let me know let me know what's going on.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I can't make you walk it out. Right. And if they don't want me around, I can't force my way into their life, but boy, I sure can pray for them. Like if they belong to the Holy Spirit, then the Holy Spirit can convict them because he's the convictor. He's the one who draws people into himself, not
That's
me.
good.
Right. So for me in that, it's just, man, it's just a day by day thing. Like literally the whole, like one of those recovery sayings is you just one day at a time. Like that has saved my life because that's a big deal when people are where people are at. So
one day at a time. I love what you said about prayer, and even in your testimony, you said my mom praying for me.
Yeah,
it went, and I think we can be that for people. It's like, sure, they don't want us around, or we can help maybe be there, but I will pray.
Yes,
and prayer works. And I know God is working on you, and I'm not going to stop believing in that way. Sorry, I have one more question. What's something you wish people would have done? Or if there is, like, I don't know, like, maybe in that time, you're like, man, I really wish I had this, or someone that said this, or what.
Sure. When I look back on my life, like in looking for those situations, like I was too far gone. I was going to listen to anybody. Right. But now into the place, like, I guess I've just taken it upon myself when I need help. Like, I'm just not afraid to just be like, man, here's where I'm at. Here's what's going on. And so I've learned about biblical authority and like submitting to that. So I have people I submit to, right? I have, Mark Sullivan, my father now. I submit to my father before I make any major decision. And I'll get into a good story about that when we have a minute. But like I submit to, Courageous Church. I submit to the authority and the leadership there. Like I show up. I don't go in there going, "Hey, we need to do this, 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 and this." No, I submit to what you do, and then I sit back and I just serve and I watch and make sure, and it lines up with the word. Then we're straight. I am submitting to your authority because one day I'll be somewhere where somebody's going to have to submit to that, right?
Yeah.
So it's just the balance. But always for me, always goes back to the word. What does the word say? What does the word say about this? So
that's good. I had to ask. That was a person. I was like, I was like, just want the advice.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. And I can't. I just keep seeing this theme of humility, right? And even in like submitting to church authority, you may disagree with some stuff, but that doesn't mean, like you said, you go out of your way and
retaliate or rebel.
yeah. I mean, there's just God is a God of order.
Because some people do it.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Changing churches. No, God called me to Courageous Church.
Yeah.
Until he tells me to leave, I'm at Courageous Church.
And let me ask you something, because I mean, dude, your humility is so impressive, especially talking about that. Like you said, I learned about biblical authority, and there's a lot of people in church that don't know that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people in church that are under your leadership.
Yeah.
And you tell them to go right, and they'll deliberately, consciously look you in the face and go, "I'm gonna go left," and it's like. But I just, let's go right, because this is the right way to go.
Yeah.
So can you just, I guess, unpack that a little bit for us? Like, how did you get to that point where it's like, you know what? This is what's going to grow me. This is what's going to edify me. This is what's going to keep maturing me as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a leader in my church.
Yes.
To submit to my biblical authority.
Yeah, and it started honestly when I first got sober. Like when I was I just was like my buddy and I, this third time I'll make sure he listens. Mark Sullivan, shout out
Mark.
So when he told me to do something, at that point I was just going to do whatever, because I was so desperate. I would do whatever he said.
Okay.
Hey man, maybe you want to think before you before you do this, or hey, maybe you want. So I learned that in that situation, and then as I started opening my Bible and seeing the authority that we're given, but then the authority that as we submit to it, then that's when it changed. And then in moving to Tampa and just going, God, I need men who are chasing after you, Father, and like I always think about biblical authority of like I'm submitted to my church and to the leadership, and then also like I always want to be walking with like, okay, I'm holding on to that. I need somebody who's similar to me in their walk, and I always need to be reaching back and grabbing a new guy and bringing him along into that, because it's really just like a big game of follow the leader. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what it is.
just grabbing onto whatever that looks like. But really, for me, it always comes back to the word. If the word says it, then that's what I do. Because everything else I did never worked, and every time I do what the word says, it works.
So be in your word.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Be in your word.
Read the word
and pray.
Do it equals success. Wow, look at that.
Literally.
And listen to the people around you.
Yes.
Like God speaks through people.
Yes,
There's
he does.
wisdom and counsel, and obviously test everything. Like not everybody
always test the spirit for sure.
Right.
Sure.
Yes.
But listen if they're for the most part, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, it all goes back to this idea of the whole CEO, the janitor, like know your place. And people, I just think a lot of people want to be the CEO. A lot of people want to run the show.
Sure.
And the moment you say, God, this life is yours. So my answer is yes. Like you always say, the answer is yes. Whatever you say, God, the answer is yes. I think a lot of people don't have that mindset, don't have that heart posture where it's like, God, whatever you say, let me think about it first. Let me see if it lines up with my plans.
Sure.
Yeah.
God, you're calling me into full-time ministry? That's gonna mess my 401k. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could go into
My Roth IRA.
Taking a hit.
But
At the end of the day, he's my provider, and I want to give a good story about submitting to authority. So when I was dating my now wife, right, like I was just really damaged from a really bad, destructive, chaotic relationship for 16 years. I was just like, I was telling God, I'm never getting married again. I'm good. I had a little place by the beach in San Diego. Like I was just going to date pretty girls, and I was just going to be okay. Like that's what I was. This is early on in my career.
A lot of men have said that.
Literally, like
I'm not getting it done.
You know what, God, I'm good. Like I'm never doing this again. And so I meet her, and she's so different. And she's, man, shout out, babe. She's amazing. Anyhow, so we're dating, and like, man, I'm breaking up with her like every few months just because I'm so afraid. I'm so scared. I'm so like, I can't keep doing this. And I'm still living in sin. We're sleeping together at this time. I haven't fully gone through the sanctification process. So I get to a point where I'm really submitting to authority. You know how most churches then January do that 21-day fast. So I did this 21-day fast. This was 23. Right? This is like a few weeks before we got married. Like we'd been living together and all that. And I'm like, okay, I need to break up with you. I need to just step out of the boat and see what God has for this thing. Right? We're not sleeping together. I just can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I don't want to keep hurting you. And she fought for me, man. This woman fought for me. And so during that time, fasting, praying, God, whatever your will is, like no real breakthrough. On day 18, man, it's like the scales fall off my eyes. I'm like, man, this is going to be my wife. Like, this is the woman you have for me. Because like, I'm letting God pick again. I'm not authorized to pick my own wife. Like I've proven that did not work for me. So like, all right, Jesus. Okay, cool. So we're good. So I tell Mark, my guy, and he goes, yeah, I've just been waiting for you, man. Like he already knew because he'd like actually been talking to her too, and like really wise. My parents were on a cruise. They were out here in Florida actually, so they came to this side of the country and went on one of those Caribbean cruises, and they were like out to sea, so they had zero connection. So before they left for the cruise, all they knew is that we were broken up, and like that's where we were heading. Like I'm just trying to figure this out, God. Whatever you want with my life, right? This happens while they're in that 3 days. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll call my parents, let them know, hey, here's what's happening, but I need to talk to my dad before I, anything. So I get on the phone that morning. Hey, Mom and Dad, here's what's going on. I've had some things happen, and my father goes, hey, son, I just want you to know this morning that I was praying and God told me that you're supposed to marry Carrie. No idea.
Wow.
Right. So that's how Jesus shows up when you just say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that way, as I told her, I said, we're getting married. I'm not moving back in until I'm married to you. So we go to the courthouse, we get married, and then in June we had like the big wedding and all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
And now, when I look at it, and I'm like, how did I miss that? Because I was still healing.
Yeah.
I was still going through the, all the therapy and the inner work and like just the surrender and just like all of that. I was going through all of that, and still it brought me out. And then now I'll die for that woman because that's what the word says again, right? Like, am I laying my life down for her? Yes. I absolutely will. That's awesome. You can ask her and she will back that up. I know it looking at that camera when she watches this. She knows I will.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can I ask this question and correct me if I'm wrong? So this is your second marriage? Third marriage. Okay. So, okay.
Yeah.
How, and I'm sorry if you mentioned it, maybe you can unpack it a little bit further, but I feel like there's so many guys in your position that you said it right. Like, that's it. I'm done. I'm not going to get married again.
Yep.
I've done it twice, and marriage is tough, and divorces are nasty, right?
Yep.
So how did you like reconcile that in your mind and your heart, right, with the Lord and obviously with your authority? Like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get married because it's great. Sure, your dad told you, hey, you're gonna marry Carrie.
Yeah,
but you're inside you can still be like,
and honestly, I've just been at the point of surrender where I didn't even have that. I just went to her and I was like, we got to get married. Like, let's go to the courthouse today. Like, whatever. Like,
that's
we
awesome.
got to do it. Like, I'm just like,
and she was all for it when you said,
I'm so like,
awesome.
So she's she was coaching at the time we were doing real estate together. She was coaching high school soccer, and I was like, man, how am I going to propose to her? And so I actually was like, you know what? I'm going to get a better reaction out of a bunch of like 16-year-old girls that she's coaching than anybody else. So I had my youngest son, like, because he was being the team manager for the team, sneak up like at the end of the game, and I'm like, gosh, you guys can't lose today. You got at least win or tie. You got to win or tie. And they tied, right? And so I snuck up on her, and she's like, what's going on? And so I proposed to her in front of the soccer team. We still have it on video. It's great because the girls were like, rah! They're like, imagine a bunch of 12, 16-year-old girls just going crazy. It was fantastic.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah. I wanted to, as we start wrapping up this conversation, we always like to point it back to the Bible, right? We're a faith-based podcast.
Yes.
And we've been talking a lot about humility and humbling yourself and whatnot. And I wanted to point out Matthew 23, verses 11 and 12. It says, the greatest among you will be your servant. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted.
Yes.
Like it's simple math. A plus B equals C. Humble yourself equals you will be exalted.
Yes.
And it's amazing because, again, God doesn't owe us anything.
No.
We're not worthy of even being our own janitors. But when we humble ourselves, because we're his children,
Yes.
he wants to bless us.
Yes.
The Sermon on the Mount says, if you, though who are evil, know how to give good gifts, imagine how much more
Yeah.
your Father in heaven will bless you.
Yes.
So it's a matter of like, I just really don't get how... I've just seen such prideful Christians, man, and I'm like, hey, you're not reading your word. Like, it just
Yeah.
it doesn't line up with what I'm reading.
Like there's no fruit,
There's no fruit, man.
Yeah.
And it's
or
like,
there's rotten fruit.
Yeah.
Rotten fruit.
that
synthetic
part.
fruit.
That part. That's so true. And that's why it's so important to even guard your heart. And I think that's a better way to say it. I don't know if there's definitely people with no fruit, but then I would argue, did you really get saved? But I think the more accurate depiction is rotten fruit.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people
Yeah.
encounter the Lord and they have that fire
Yeah.
where the fruit of the Spirit is there. But the Bible also says to work out your salvation with fear and trembling, to guard your heart.
Good.
And so if you don't protect the fruit, you don't cultivate it, you don't
Corrupt
wash it,
Yes.
it gets corrupted, it gets tainted, it gets rotten.
Yes.
And then not only that is your life festering that, but then you start the worst part, in my opinion, and I think that's why we're all going to give an account to the Lord, is when you start feeding people that rotten fruit.
Yes.
That's going to damage people. It's almost like the saying that you don't bleed on other people.
Yeah.
Correct.
Similar.
And one bad apple spoils the batch, right?
Yeah.
There's that saying.
Yep.
So, and you said something that it just, when you said, I was like, wow, it's so true. You said synthetic fruit.
Correct. That fake fruit.
Fake fruit, you know, because you can have a bowl right here on this coffee table. and it could be
Plastic fruit.
plastic fruit. And how many people walk around with plastic fruit on their trees?
Yep.
That's good.
That all they do is a mask on Sundays, but then, you know, Monday through Saturday, they're a wreck.
Yep.
Or they don't read their word, or they don't pray, or they don't, you know, really do what
Yeah.
they show you that they do on Sundays.
Yeah.
So
That's real.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you said, Alessandro, when you're talking about humility, because Alessandro knows me well enough to know that one of the biggest things that's changed my life is the fear of the Lord. Right. So there's a book by John Bevere called The Awe
Of God,
and
yes.
I have that. I've done, my small group does that book. Like, it's been so profound. But true humility and the fear of the Lord lead to riches, honor, and a long life. Proverbs 22:4. Like,
Yeah.
Amen.
like those two things have set the trajectory of my life to sitting here with you today.
That's so good.
That's good. You want to ask something, Eric?
I have something to say. It's
Go,
changing
go,
the
go.
topic
Go,
though,
go.
because I know we're about to end.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Right?
Yeah, go. You
Sorry,
good?
I just wanted to say,
Yeah, bro.
you know, and because I think I have a word of encouragement
Yeah.
that I have for you, Nate, and and you know what I think this is I think you already know this. I mean, I could be wrong. Test all things.
Yeah.
I'm even test me, dude. Like I'm,
Yeah.
I don't shy away from it at all. You know, but I was able to talk to you a little bit in Sandro's kitchen. We were just chatting, you know, and you mentioned like, you know, that you might be bouncing around a little bit. You're from California.
Yeah.
Now you're in Tampa.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, who knows where next season might go,
Yep.
you know, because, you know, who you married,
Yeah.
you know, you travel with
Yes.
that. I think it's no coincidence that that's true for you.
Yeah.
And what I feel so strongly to share with you today is I think the testimony that you have is so powerful.
Yeah.
You're carrying that with you everywhere you
Yeah.
go.
Thank you.
And you know, the Bible says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb
Yes.
and the word of our testimony.
Yes.
I think as you travel and as you move, right now you're in Tampa, I think you're carrying that word of, you know, your testimony that's going to help so many people overcome.
100%.
You know, and I know you already know that, but I felt like to share that. So let it be like another reaffirmation
Sure.
of something you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I know this episode, there's going to be a lot of guys that I think are going to, you know, be changed. We have a lot of young guys that watch
Good.
the pod from our church and a lot of guys from Courageous and, you know, and all over the world, we have a few people that watch us.
Yeah.
So for sure, this is going to sharpen people.
Yeah.
But Nate, I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah.
Just so, and this could be the last question, then we can wrap up after this. What is one thing, one piece of wise counsel you can offer young men?
Oh, man, I got a lot. Just say yes. You know, just say yes and not half yes. Not God, I'll keep these things, I'll give you this. Give it just if you lay it all down, that's when all those promises, all those gifts come. Like when I just say yes, Jesus, yes, you know what, it doesn't matter how I feel, doesn't matter what I think, doesn't matter how my wife may be acting one day or my coworker may be acting one day, yes. Yes. And in that's changed everything for me. It's just all he wanted was my 100% unconditional yes.
I love it.
Not holding, something behind my back, like only 95%, 100.
Yeah.
My finances, my relationship, my sexuality, like fellas, if we're talking about stuff.
Yeah.
My wife is the only place my body finds pleasure. Like things like that. Like
Yeah.
I give more than 10% of my check. I don't make too much of a check right now, but I give more than 10% of it because you said,
Right.
And just yes, serving, yes. What do you need? Yes. And just keep saying yes, and then I find balance in that too, right? Because you can get overwhelmed with like always saying yes.
Correct. Right. Yeah.
Tomorrow
I think there's boundaries.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm really good at that too. I've learned to just be like, cool. And I learned a lot of that from my wife. My wife is really good about like boundaries and people. Like, man, I learned so much from her. So she teaches me a lot. We're very much balanced in how God put us together. Like where I'm strong, she is weak, and where she is weak. You know what I'm trying to say. I think I messed it up, but yeah. So
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Well, any last comments or questions that you guys have? I want to honor your time, Nate. We took a little bit longer than we wanted to, but do you have anything, final words, remarks, or even a question for us? I mean, I don't think we ever asked that, but if you have anything you want to share with us or one of the guys before we start to wrap up.
Yeah, I mean, like what I see in you guys, because I was for like Alessandro sent me some of the podcasts, so it's like I've got to know you guys a little bit just in listening, but what you're doing and the obedience, and you guys are reading your word, like God has a plan for you, and I see this guy way more, and I already know what's coming for this guy.
Yeah.
First time he stepped up to preach, I saw that coming from like 3 weeks after I met him, right? Like there's just things that you see that will manifest in God's will.
Yeah.
And more so like with you guys, I don't know exactly your stories, but I know like what you're doing as young men and getting into the word and then giving it back, man, it's powerful. So just keep doing that, and God will bless that.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for your vulnerability.
Yeah, 100%.
It's definitely going to change a lot of people, so we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've always said that one day, like this podcast was really birthed from us watching The Basement. And I know that's something that you and I've always
Shout out Tim Ross one day.
Shout out.
What's funny is that actually, and we'll wrap up with this story. Nate and I have a funny story because the first time that Nate met Tim Ross, I was talking to Tim Ross.
Yep.
So I'm talking to him. And then I think you came to say hi to me.
Yeah.
And you didn't realize that who I was talking to was Tim Ross.
Yep.
And so when Nate comes to me to say hi to me and Tim Ross turns around, Nate was kind of starstruck.
I was speechless. I don't get speechless very often. Like in my wife, I've met famous soccer players. My dad used to be the chaplain for the San Diego Chargers. Like I've met like all these professional athletes, and like Tim Ross was like, because I'd had so much time and equity with him. Right? Because he'd been so impactful on me and my wife and our walk with the Lord. Yeah. And so then after that, it's just like, okay, cool. And then I was like, I don't ever get selfies. I was like, let's get a selfie, man. Like I need a picture with me and you and Tim because that, and it's just, it was a cool moment. And then what you realize is that he's just like all of us.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
He just loves the Lord.
Yep.
And just walking in his purpose.
And that's what I was going to say. Like, I mean, this conversation has been about humility. And if there's anything that I now having gotten the privilege to meet him a couple times or be in the room with him in private conversations, like he is the same guy. First of all, he's the same guy as you see on the podcast. And second, the humility that oozes out of that guy is just, I think that's why the Lord's blessed him so much. But yeah, what I was going to say with that is we always joke that one day we'll have Tim Ross on the podcast, and maybe that day when we finally make it to that point, you can come along with
I was going to say, please.
No, we got you. We got you.
Yeah.
But Nate, it's been a pleasure, brother. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carrie, for lending us your husband for a couple hours. But please go get some rest with your wife. Man, we love you. Thank you again, man. It's been a privilege and an honor to have you.
Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Seriously.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning into another conversation today with us. We hope you liked it. If you did, make sure you leave a comment, leave a like, and please subscribe. We have some people that watch our episodes that have not subscribed. It helps us out a lot. So we love you guys. Till next time, peace.